Video games are kind of meant to be addicting, but some games, well, they went way beyond what you are expecting in that department. Welcome to Chaos Gaming. Today, we're going to be checking out some of the most addicting video games ever made. You let me know how many hours you've sunk into some of these games we are going to go over. Drop a like, make sure you're following the page with those notifications completely turned on, and share this with one person that you feel is addicted to a video game. First up is Minecraft. Let's start off with the best-selling game of all time. I mean, if over 200 million copies have been sold, they're clearly doing something right. It launched in late 2011, a decade ago, after a couple years in beta. Since then, it has dominated. It always has. There is so much to do in Minecraft. It's ever evolving. You can build something with your imagination. You can play survival. You can build something with somebody else's blueprints. You can create your own game mode. You can fiddle with mods. It is a vast experience, and it's nearly impossible to run out of things to do. And there's a reason why people sink thousands and thousands of hours. You heard me right, thousands of hours without ever getting bored. I think it's a pretty good way to start today's list. Next up, Pokemon Go. You probably expected it to be on the video somewhere, especially since it's been seeing a bit of a resurgence lately. Even my wife Ashley re-downloaded it, and she's playing it. It launched in 2016. It took the world by storm. It was a great way to play some games while getting some steps and exercise in. Then it kind of fell off for a while, but since has been popping back up. There's been updates, introducing new generations of Pokemon, and improving the core gameplay loop. It was a phenomenon, safe to say, when it first came out, and has continued to soak up hours and hours of people's lives. It's just extremely addicting gameplay, and the constant desire to catch them all. You just keep going and going. How about Temple Run? How many of you had Temple Run back in the day? How many of you still have Temple Run? Developed by Manji Studios, it dropped a decade ago and completely took over the App Store. You played as a random explorer trying to run from a horde of killer monkeys. The levels were randomly generated, so you never got the same experience twice, which always had you itching to hit your new high score. Not only was the game popular, but it inspired countless endless runner clones that still continue to this day. Temple Run inspired a horde of mobile games. It remained on top of the pack for a long time thanks to the incredibly addicting gameplay loop. Now let's talk about one that maybe not all of you actually experienced. Stardew Valley. Released in early 2016, it was essentially an updated version of Harvest Moon, but I don't think people are really going to get upset about it. You played as a character who inherits a farm in a small town called Stardew Valley, at which point it becomes your responsibility to run that farm, make good with the village members, keep business booming. Now, it doesn't seem like much on the surface, but it's kind of a game that will absolutely eat your life up once you dive in. You go from small task to small task to bigger task to small task, and soon enough you've sunk 500 hours into it plus. With updates frequently coming out with more content, well, you're probably going to lose years of your life in this game. Next up, Among Us. Among Us is probably the most recent game on this list. It's been around for a few years. Most people didn't even know that, but it exploded during the pandemic. Very simple game. Basically just the video game version of Mafia, which I'm sure plenty of you played when you were younger. 10 players venture around a big spaceship or wherever planet, and they try to complete tasks, but 2 of them are secretly killers. And they're trying to sabotage the ship and turn all the crew members against each other. Now, getting a group of friends together to play Among Us may be one of the best, worst things you can do out there. Really, I mean, it's crazy. I've done it. There's still hundreds of thousands of people playing right now at any given time. And speaking of Jelly Bean games, Fall Guys. Yep, another game that came out of nowhere because of the pandemic. Fall Guys is a goofy battle royale where you play as a humanoid jelly bean trying to win various Wipeout-inspired games. Now, it's extremely simple. It's incredibly goofy, which is what gave it the appeal. Unlike other battle royale games, Fall Guys takes almost zero skill, and that's part of what makes it so addicting. Anybody can win, and oftentimes you'll make it to the final rounds just by chance, but then you screw up in the final game. It's definitely fallen off since last year, but it still has a decent following and a ton of regular players. If lockdowns keep stretching on, it wouldn't shock me if it makes another comeback. Now, here's one that doesn't fall off. It just continues to putt right along. Mario Kart. Easily one of the most addicting racing games of all time. Nobody's going to argue. It's been around for almost, are you ready for this? 30 years. Each new installment seems to get more addicting than the last. The concept? It's simple. You race go-karts with some awesome music and cool visuals while collecting items that you can use to throw at other opponents and get them off their game. Now, each new installment has new items, new courses, new music, and more ways to annoy your friends and rub your victory in their big faces. It's remained one of the most addicting party games in the world for almost 3 decades, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. As of January 2021, over 150 million copies of Mario Kart have been purchased. So maybe you're into Mario Kart 8, maybe you're still playing Mario Kart DS, or maybe you're a Double Dash purist. I don't know. But regardless of your favorite, Mario Kart absolutely belongs on today's list. And you know what? Comment below, what is the best Mario Kart version of all times? Next up is Doodle Jump. Anybody remember Doodle Jump? Raise your hand. One of the original mobile game sensations. Released in 2009 for the iPhone and the Android, it's an extremely simple game. You tilt your phone back and forth, and you try to guide your character up randomly generated platforms. It's an extremely addicting game, and since it's never ending, there's nothing stopping you from working to hit a new high score. Doodle Jump was downloaded over 15 million times during its first 2 years on the market, and even today, people still play this game. It's not as big or groundbreaking as it once was, but it's Doodle Jump. You can't not play Doodle Jump. And no, we are not putting Flappy Bird on this list today. At number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons. How about one of the best-selling games of the decade? It's a franchise that's been around for a long time, but it has refined its formula over the years, and it hit critical mass with New Horizons. Released for the Switch in early 2020, pandemic, yes, takes control of a deserted island. You do your best to gather items, catch fish, develop a community, and much more. It doesn't sound like a lot on the surface, but it's addicting. And, well, you say, how addicting? How about 31 million copies? There you go. It took over the internet during launch week, and the memes persisted for months. To this day, New Horizons is one of the most successful games in Nintendo's lineup, as millions of people come back every day to satisfy Tom Nook, who, well, he's a crook. Let's just keep it that way. And at number 1 today, Geometry Dash and The Impossible Game. I'm going to put these two in the same entry because they're the same game. The Impossible Game launched in 2009, and Geometry Dash came in 2013, and it essentially expanded upon the original formula of being a square trying to go left to right and avoid big spikes. Now, both Geometry Dash and The Impossible Game are addicting, as they consist of short linear levels that require a ton of trial and error. Nobody beats these levels on the first try, but you're also not supposed to. You're supposed to try them over and over and over again until you get that incredible satisfaction of completing the level, or you rage quit and you throw your phone across the room. Both of these games took the gaming world by storm when they were released, and if you ask me, they're still 2 of the most addicting games ever made. And there you have it. Let me know one game that's got you hooked. It's just got its talons in you and you can't get away from it that we did not mention on today's list. And I'll see you guys soon.